So welcome to Increase. This is the first class. And in this class, we're going to take the spiritual principles of increase, and we're going to learn to apply them to get the natural results that the Bible promises. So for tonight's class, we've got some live audience here on Zoom. We're also streaming on YouTube. I anticipate that the class is going to go around 20 to 30 minutes to get through the concept, and then I'm going to cut the YouTube stream. And if you are here with us on Zoom, we'll give you a chance to interact and we can talk about the concept if you have any further questions. So for tonight's first class, why your hard work isn't working. Isn't that a shame? You got hard work, you're putting in all of the effort, but you don't seem to be getting the results that you think you deserve or that you want. You ever feel like you're stuck or that you're stalled out? Or you wonder, what is all this worth? Maybe you feel like there's not quite enough month for the money that you've earned, or you're thinking, if only I could have a little bit more time, I could get caught up, but it never seems to come. Well, we're going to dig into that tonight. And hopefully by the end of the night, you're going to understand why your hard work isn't working. And then by the end, you're going to have a tool in which an exercise to go through where you'll understand your life and a tool to look at your life so then you can get those results that you hope for. So let's dig right in. I'm going to start with a story. So I'm from a middle-class home, grew up in the Midwest. And if we had one family value in my household, it was hard work. Everything was based around working hard, giving everything you got. And we were led to believe that if we gave it everything we got and we worked hard, then life would turn out well for us. So I carried the principle with me, got A's in high school, got mostly A's in college, and was off on my life, got married in my 20s, and quickly started a new business, and I was self-employed. Looked like things were on easy street and they were going well. And I was applying that moral of hard work and excellence, and it seemed to go okay. So we're living our life. Things are good. I start to get interested in many different things. We got a dog. We'd go to the dog park. I learned to play guitar. We started a bluegrass band where we would practice with the band, and we had gigs and we would perform on the weekends. I was really into sports and I loved the NFL. I could tell you all the teams and the players and the stats. I was into fantasy football. I was the commissioner of 3 fantasy football leagues. I just had it going on. I did hunting trips with family. We were into fixing cars. We spent the weekends outside under a shade tree fixing each other's cars. We had a heavy social life. We would go out to eat with friends and have barbecues. I was into beer, into bourbon. Life was good. But about that time, my hard work stopped working. And the hardest thing about it is I felt like I had a good heart. We didn't cheat. We didn't steal. We didn't lie. But the hard work, even with my best intentions, didn't seem to be giving me results. And if anything, things began to start going backwards for me. Now, if you paid attention to that story, you probably started to see what my problem was when we got all those things going on. I had a problem with focus. Focus was my issue, and that was the problem that I had. I had too many things to be able to keep a strong focus on any one particular thing. And so I never seemed to get traction on any of the things that I was working on. So I'm going to start my slide here and share my screen. Let's go through a couple quotes. We're talking about focus, and you want to understand that focus is a foundational principle to increase. Almost all the results that you're going to get in life will likely start with your focus and attention on something that you want in life. Now, it's a concept that we've all heard about through growing up and from grade school, but I feel like it's not taught all the way in our focus maybe isn't at the forefront of what we do, and we don't understand nor leverage the real power of focus. So therefore we can't get the results. There is so much more to focus than just that word about put your attention on one thing. And hopefully by the end of the night, we're going to bring some clarity to that term, and you're going to be able to see how to apply your hard work in a way that starts to get results when you start to put that foundational principle to increase of focus into practice. So a couple of quotes I really like to understand this. Ken Blanchard wrote The 1 Minute Manager, said, "What we give our attention to grows." Another quote I like from T. Harv Eker from The Millionaire Mind, he said, "Where attention goes, energy flows and results show." So if we want to understand focus, I believe that focus is a superpower. And if you're not receiving those results, then you haven't learned how to harness that power inside of you, which is your attention. So if we understand focus, you need to know this about focus. Your focus directs energy and it directs effort. Your focus on any one thing creates momentum. Focus attracts resources. Focus begins to build your faith and it raises your expectation. And then focus demands results. Now you could put your focus anywhere, and this principle to increase will bring increase to lots of things. But as I learned to harness the power of focus after some failures in life, some closed businesses, some failed expectations, and some things that I wasn't proud of, when I begin to put focus in power, I begin to get the results that only it can give me. I have a Yukon XL Denali, and it was a vehicle that came to me because I put my attention and my focus on it. When it was time that we wanted to buy our first rental property, we had wanted to invest in real estate for years, but it wasn't until we put our focus on buying that first property that first property that was perfect for us and the goals that we had presented itself, and we were able to purchase that property. I've used the power of focus to bring on new team members as we've grown our company and our team. We've also used the power of focus when we've had deadlines that we've had to meet. Focus can increase your income, but focus can also demand the results when you begin to put your attention on a specific thing. Let's think about a little bit about what the Bible says. Though the Bible doesn't use that word focus specifically, it does talk about the concept. So James 1:8 says, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." Think back to my story. I wasn't single-minded in anything. I was working so hard when I went to work, but I had so many other things that were grabbing my attention. And I never had one particular place that my attention could go and grow anything. I never directed enough energy into any one particular effort to see it grow. I was double-minded, triple-minded. Maybe I was quadruple-minded or 15-minded. Matthew 7:7 says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find it. Knock and it will be open to you." So part of focus is understanding that you are going to have to decide what you want, and you are going to have to pursue it with all of your intention. Proverbs 25:2 says, "It's the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search them out." You know, God is a provider and will provide all of our needs, but it's oftentimes the things that we're looking for are hidden right around us. And he does this for our good, that we might harness the power of our focus and search those things out. James 1:8 says, "For the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead." So I hope you're starting to think now about your life. Do you put enough attention on anything to see it grow? Are you putting enough attention on anything for the energy to flow into that effort to see increase in productivity? Let's get real personal right now. Many of us have too many hobbies. I know I did. We're looking for increase in our income, increase in our business or on our job. Yet we spend all the best of our creative energy thinking about our hobby, or worse, giving it to social media or funny videos on TikTok. Maybe you're using the best of your energy watching movies on Netflix or out with friends. You know, the shame of it is most of us are giving our energy to good things, but those good things don't necessarily improve our life and don't bring the increase that we want. So the question is, are the good things that you are saying yes to preventing you from experiencing the great things that you are really longing for? So let's think about focus. Success really is as simple as decide what you want and go get it. But when you go to do that, there's some things that seem to stand in our way. And so the point of tonight is that we start to remove the uncertainty, that we start to really see, how can I really use focus, and how can I remove the obstacles to leverage the power that it has? And so here's some things I've learned over time to harness the power of focus and really enhance it in my life. Deadlines. Deadlines have a great way of channeling your focus. You know, there's a law that's called Parkinson's Law, and Parkinson's Law states that work expands to fill the time that's given it. So if you give a 2-hour task 8 hours, it can take all 8 hours to do. But it also works in reverse. You can take an 8-hour task and decide through focus, I'm going to get this done in 2 hours. And if you've ever done this, you'll learn it works. So there's a power of setting a deadline. It has a way of directing your attention and directing your energy on an outcome and a result that you've decided to get done by a certain time. Another thing you can do to enhance your focus is to make a decision. If you do a word study on that decision and you break that apart, the DE in decide is off, and the side part derives from a word that means to cut. So when you think about making decisions, what you're really doing, if you make a true decision, is you are cutting off all other possibilities. Many of us make choices. Many of us are browsing through options, but very few of us are actually making decisions where we take a single focus on what we want and we cut off all other possibilities besides this thing that we're after. Another thing about that you can do for focus is clarity. Tony Robbins says that complexity is the enemy of execution, and he says that success loves clarity. So if you want to enhance your focus, you bring clarity to your life, the things that you want. And that's the tool that I want to move into next, is to give you an exercise to do. And when you complete this exercise, you're going to begin to have a framework. You're going to have a lens or a grid in which to see your life. And if you've really done this exercise well, then when you step into anything, you will have the framework to really make strong decisions, set deadlines that channel your focus, and begin to achieve different results. So the tool that I want to teach tonight, when we think about focus, I call it the increased focus matrix. There's really 3 parts to clarity. So I'm going to create a matrix. It's going to be a grid, and I hope that you'll write it down and just create the grid. And it's an exercise that you'll do after the class, as you and only you can really analyze this about your intentions in life, the things that you want, and what you're willing to do for them. But if you'll do this exercise, you'll get that lens that you're looking for. So it's called the increased focus matrix. And there's 3 parts to this increased focus matrix. And the first is you got to know your what. You got to make a decision on what you really want, whether that's a car that you want to buy next, that's the investment property that you want to buy, or maybe it's the dream house that you hope to have 20 years from now. You've got to decide, make a decision on what. So you've got to know your what. The next thing that you're going to have to decide is you're going to have to know your why. Simon Sinek read a great book that said it starts with why. Why gets at the heart and the purpose of the things you want. It's easy to say, I want to be rich one day. I want $10 million. But I tell you, it's a hard day when it's raining outside, or you have a flat tire, or you got demoted, or the boss didn't like the work, or your client fired you. How do you get through that day and continue to pursue what you want? You do it when you know why you are in pursuit of that thing. And then the last thing you're going to need to really dive into in your increased focus matrix is you're going to have to know your not. And when I say know you're not, what I'm talking about is you're going to have to identify those things in life it's time to start saying no to. Time to start saying that is not for me. That is not on the journey for where I want to get to. This is the grid that you need to give yourself. So we know our what, we know our why, and we know our not, but we want to understand this in multiple levels. We want to get to the core and the depth of what that is to really have a full empowered framework. So we look at these three things, but I want to look at it in three different timelines. And the first timeline that will probably take the most time for you in this exercise is the vision that you have for your life. You got to have a vision. You need to know what that vision is. I believe that everyone is born with a dream. You don't find your dream out in the world. You don't find it in a movie or hear it on an album. It's inside of you. You've had it since a young age. Now it expands and it gets more detail, but you've got to have a dream and you've got to begin to clearly define the dream. So the Bible says that without vision, the people perish. And when you look in that verse about for the words that were actually used in the Hebrew, that word vision does not mean sight. It doesn't mean if a blind man will walk off a curb and trip and fall or stumble over a cliff. It means prophetic vision. It means the dream that you have for your life, your vision of what you hope your life will mean. And that word perish, it actually doesn't mean die. It doesn't mean if you lose sight of your dream, you're going to keel over dead. That word perish means that you're unrestrained or that you start to walk astray. And haven't we all experienced that at a time or two? We lose sight of what we want in life and where we're going, and we start to wander lost, chasing after the next shiny thing, only to get to the realization that it wasn't taking me where I wanted to go. So first, you got to know your vision. You begin to describe your dream, but it's not enough to know. You need to know why. Why do you want the dream house? Why do you want the beach vacation? Why do you want the new car? When you know your why in a personal way, then you can pursue it. Because it's easy to say I want $10 million, but as I said earlier, will I pursue through it when the chips are down, when the count is down and things are tough? But when I've got a serious why that I want a beach house because I want a place where my kids can grow, where we can experience life, where I can take the people I love the most and enjoy the things that I love most about that creation, which for me is the beach. That why starts to make it easy for me to say yes to putting money in an investment fund so one day I can buy that property. But it has to be personal, and you need to get emotionally engaged. It has to be real. It needs to bring a tear to your eye or get you up out of your seat. Until you've engaged your heart on it, then you are not connected to the extent you need to know your why. Now, when you begin to know your what and you begin to know your why, then the knots are really easy. The opportunities that come that don't take you where you want to go, it's easy to say, God bless you, brother. I hope that's fun, but I can't spend my time that way. Opportunities have come to my wife and I to be a part of different things that were wonderful things for the people that were inviting us, but we knew the time commitment it would take from us would prevent us from pursuing the vision that we had for our life. So you have long-term vision in your life. The next is for your increased focus matrix is you want to know what your goal is. You might have a goal to meet the sales quota. You might have a goal to bring on new clients or expand your reach on social media, but you identify a goal. And when you start to identify that goal and you know clearly what it is, now your attention can go to work. Now the attention can draw the resources. Now the attention can bring the people together. Now the attention on that goal begins to create momentum. And don't be surprised at what begins to show up in your life when you get laser focused on that goal that you're trying to meet and what you want. So you set a goal, and even if it's a short-term goal, you still want to understand your why, because every goal will take persistence. It will take determination, and you're going to have to push through it. And it's going to take your heart knowing what you want to get there. And then clearly you begin to know you're not. If I've got to meet the sales quota by Friday at 5 o'clock, then I probably can't stay out late on Thursday. If I've got to be at church on Sunday early morning, then I probably got to turn in early on Saturday. See, when I know what I want and I know why I want it, and it's easy to say no, and I'm not distracted. I'm not double-minded. I'm single-minded and single-focused. And then finally, the increased focus matrix is the now. It's the task that you're on. It's easy to sit in a class like this or to journal in your Bible and say, I know what I want in life. This will be awesome one day. But the rubber meets the road and you got to get to work. And you've got to be able to be focused and disciplined. A lot of us are working from home these days, and there's no boss looking over our shoulder. And whether we achieve the results we want will be on us. And we were the only ones that are accountable for what we're able to do. And so when we can bring focus to our job, we can bring focus to the task we're working on, whether it's teaching this class to you right now, or if it is writing an email, when I'm able to put my focus on that thing and I know what I'm doing and I know why I'm doing it. Maybe I'm writing this email back right now because I care deeply about the person who wrote it. That drives me to commit and to do those things that maybe I don't want to do, but I know I need to do. And when I have that identified, it's easy to say no. So take time, take this matrix. It's 9 quadrants. And do this exercise. It seems simple. People encourage you all the time, write your vision, know what you want. I'm serious. If you will do this, your focus will increase and you'll begin to see your attention bring energy into new places, to bring the people that you want, to create the momentum, to bring increase in your life. You'll begin to say no to some of those good things that are keeping you from experiencing those great things. And in the process, probably time to identify what those things are, how those things are preventing you and limiting you from having the wonderful things that you want, from taking that next step to start the thing that you want. So it's not just an idea that just keeps getting kicked down the way, kicked down the way, kicked down the way. Instead, you're pulling that vision to your now by beginning to be clear about what you want long-term, but clear about the goals. See, when I know what I want long-term, I know whether what I'm doing today is going to get me there. And when I know that what I'm doing this moment is going to achieve the goal I want, and that goal is going to take me to my vision, now I start to get some serious momentum and I start to live the life of my dreams. I start to see that vision come to life. But I want to end with a couple quotes from Gary Keller. And Gary Keller wrote an awesome book called The One Thing. And in this book, he says, success demands singleness of purpose. You need to be doing fewer things for more effect instead of doing more things with side effects. Gary Keller also says, achievers always work from a clear sense of priority because they've decided they know what they want and they know why. And now they also know what they don't want and what they're not going to do. So that's a concept. I hope you'll take the time to do the exercise. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to end the stream. If people are on Zoom and they have any questions, we'll go through those questions. And I hope you'll join us again next Wednesday as we jump into another principle of increase.